First of all, join us on Discord.
Jongen maar.
Also, that's gonna get trippy if I have it open over here as well.
Jongen maar.
Where's that? Play it. And then we go over there. Also, that's gonna get trippy if I have it open over here as well.
Jongen maar.
Where's that? Also, that's gonna get trippy if I have it open over here. Also, that's gonna get trippy if I have it open.
Okay, nice. We have everything set up, I think.
Also, that's gonna get trippy if I have it open.
Okay, nice. We have everything set up, I think. Let me just get rid of that. I don't know why the thumbnail isn't showing, but that's fine. Let me... Monochromatic. How does Cyberpunk even look? We have Vaporwave and we have... Synthwave. You want this one, right? Yeah. No, I'm not doing music. No, no, no. Wave. No, fuck it. I'm just going to try and create it myself. Custom. We could go for something like this. Hmm. Complementary. I mean, I guess, but monochromatic could work. Oh, this is nice. This is actually the one we're looking at. We want it to be kind of pale, right? That's what it is. Mm. Could go and join the chat. That's a nice one. Are you going to let me save it as a PNG or? Yes, thank you. I can import you here. F. Actually, we can just do that. Something like that. Okay, that'll work for now. It's a placeholder. Oh no, it's not. Wait, why are you not moving with this? You should be there and you should be number 2. No, I labeled them incorrectly. Fuck. You're the turret and you're the body. Okay, now it's correct. Okay, that should work. Nice. Give me a sec. What's wrong with my fucking phone? Why are you so dark? I need to restart the app. Okay. I really need to figure out how to use this chat feature. It is very confusing. Hey, it changed. Nice. Uh. I'm just gonna go and steal my rotation script from this, because it is much easier to steal than to actually do any work. Oh, what are you? You're the movement for the gun. I need you. Right, yeah. Sun Tzu once said, why work when you can just steal? Okay, open you up. Rename you to Rotation. Rotation. Maybe I should play some chill music. Let's hope that this isn't copyrighted. Why do I have two scripts? What the fuck is this? Wrong one. Okay, that's kind of shite. Ah yes, the low-file chill beats. You don't know what to play, just play this. Rotation because the script class cannot be found. What do you mean? Ah. I need to get the camera. Rotation point, what do I put for you? I guess third is your rotation point. Yep. One thing, you're not centered, which is not what we want. Let me just see what I wrote. Rotation points, new location, that angle. Angle is... Look direction is... Mouse position minus player position. Okay. We put you there. Actually, no. We rotate you for 90. No. Fuck's sake. There. Why are you not? Okay, interesting. Okay, now it's rotated. It needs to be. With this. No. Let's just do something like this. Now, I need to think of a way to rotate the body as well. Also, let's up the movement on this, because this is kind of slow, not gonna lie. Free is good enough, I guess. Okay, I want to implement rotation speed, so I guess we're just going to rotate it. How can we actually do this? Let us think. If it moves at that point, it's just setting it for the angle, which means we add some delay with some timer, maybe that could work. Poggers. Exactly. Bruh. Okay, fuck it. I'm going to implement that later when I actually remember what I need to write. But for now, let's add some gun. Very nice. Whereas remember, I just what I do if you shoot, which is instantiate. So I guess I can put you on you. I need to create a new empty object. Give you We don't have an animator. Why? I'm just going to do this for now. I need a bullet prefab. Sure, let it be a diamond. Hello there.
Hola.
What up?
Not much. How about you?
Oh, I'm streaming right now. Wanna chill with me?
You're streaming?
Yes.
Wow. Where?
YouTube.
How many views?
Well, there was some guy that joined, but nobody really.
Reap.
Reap. Yes, very reap. Nobody wants to come look at a Russian guy programming some game.
Ah, look.
Okay, that should not happen. What is happening? Ah, yeah. I need a script for the bullet. Let me just steal it from here. I'm just repurposing my old project.
Okay. Okay, the stream is really lagging behind. Like a lot.
Yeah. That happens with YouTube. It's like 20 seconds. I need...
So what kind of music do you need?
Well, we need to see it with Milosh, I guess. But let's say like some techie cyberpunk battle-ish music, I guess. Or let's search for music.
You mean royalty free?
I mean, like for inspiration for you.
Okay, I really only do piano and classical stuff, so I don't know if I can.
Yes.
I'm basically retarded for anything that is not sad. What is the game setting? Is it like pixelish? Is it like
Oh, it's going to be like I don't know, maybe like I don't know, fucking. You know that Tabs game? That it's not Tabs, like that Stickman game where they fight?
Not really, no.
It's basically going to be like little tanks, I guess. So kind of chiptune-ish.
Should I make 8-bit music or something like that?
I mean that could work.
I'm gonna try.
Hmm. Ah, yeah, the bullet needs rigid bodies. Fuck me. Okay, now it works. It's not rotated well, but we'll fix that. That's too big. 3 seconds. Okay, maybe 5. Give me a second, gonna find some music.
Okay, I found a preset.
Hmm?
Found a preset that was really good.
Sure. I guess something like this could work, but make it like more simple because, yeah, you're not making that in 2 days. I need to figure out how to make the turret like lag behind.
Okay, FL Studio it is.
FL Studio?
Yeah. Hey, you got 2 viewers. One of them is me.
Yes. And
Nice.
one of them is some Poggers guy.
Nice.
Good evening, Poggers guy. Bro, I haven't used Unity like in 2 weeks. I'm rusty, dusty, crusty. I'm also streaming because I don't want to record the footage, so I can just get the footage later. Then make a video about it. That's fine. I think I'll need to use some math here.
Math.
I'm not good at math with programming. Fuck. I guess public float rotation, rotation speed, and then we have I guess for we do that. That only uses int. Let's search up references. Hmm. Yep, I need to use math.
Oof.
You know what's the name of the function
Which function?
for like rotation?
Nope.
Quaternion dot slurp. Funny, big funny. Get angle axis, charge vector free forward.
Okay, I think I have a start. I'm gonna call it lolinator underscore test dot mp3.
Bruh.
Ah, yeah. I don't know where where I saved it to.
Save it again.
Yes.
And then find the other file in like 10 years.
Yep.
Uh,
Here. Got it. Okay, I'm gonna send it to the server. You take a quick look. Where do I send it? In the...
Just private team chat could be good, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, just tell me what you think about it.
Exactly like that, like something like that. Could work very nicely.
Okay.
When you finish the melody, we can just add like a preset to it, like a mixer effect or some shit to make it fit better. Quaternion Q presents rotation. Certain interpolates between A and B by T. Yeah, that's what I need. Angle axis. Can't I just put angle here? Okay, I think no. interpolate between A and B by T. The parameter T is time to range of 0.1. Okay, yeah. Unity slurp interpolation. Fancy words. So what's one issue transformation is quaternion, they're not 40 constants. You refer to rotation 0 not getting angle, use transformation equal Z because okay. Remember our programming teacher?
I try not to.
She's fucking fat as fuck. I was at school yesterday and I'm with Danovsky and we see her. She's like, "Where's your mask?" And everybody just hops in for me. He left it at his backpack, and I'm like, well, we go out, and I'm like, is she pregnant or fat? Danovsky is like both.
Both.
Very funny. Okay, so angle.
What I hate about making music is timings. Like trying to blend two melodies together and like moving them by 1 pixel at a time, and all of a sudden it's too early. Like you move them 1 pixel to the front and then it's too late.
Yeah. Quite shite. Okay, first try. It did not work. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? My name is Georgia. Giovanni Georgia, but my friends call me Georgia. Okay, now it's not rotating at all. Let me just look up how this works. Bot decided to leave. Quite nice of him.
What?
The bot left us. He was
Rip.
like, nah, fuck you, faggots. Oh well. There's one other guy that's streaming and he has 1 view.
Who's streaming?
I don't know, some guy from who's also doing the jam.
Oh lol.
Create rotation which smoothly interpolates between the first quaternion. Quaternion is a word. A to the second quaternion B based on value of parameter T, which is time. If family parameter is close to 0, the output will be close to A. If close to 1, close to B. Okay. Which means what? Access. Shouldn't this work though? No, it should not. Why? Because it did not set rotation speed. That's why. Fucking retarded. Ah, there we go. It works like... Very nice.
Where do I find the add-ons again?
Add-ons?
Yeah, like Fruity Reverb and stuff like that.
You have like a lupa. like a search sign top left corner.
Top left corner.
You know, like have...
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah.
I no, I didn't. Fuck.
Right.
Wait, what is that? That was not the right thing.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more.
I found it. It's hiding from me. Not gonna lie, I would too.
Alright, I go eat a lunch. I'm gonna be back in like 10-15.
10-15 what? Apples? Sausages?
Yes, sausage.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Bye. Tell me bye. Are you gonna continue streaming? I guess not.
Sup? I'm back. I'm back. Yeah.
Yup.
Yes, the music is very good, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay, what do I need to do now? I guess I could add reload speed. start.
I want to see if I can interpolate frames with AI. So I have to render like 24 frames a second, and then I can get like 60 FPS out of it, which would be really nice.
Where?
What do you mean where?
On what? I don't understand. Interpolated where?
I wanna render stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
In Blender.
yeah.
Ah.
And I don't want to render like 60 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
Because that takes a huge load of time. That's like almost 3 times as much as 24.
Yeah.
But what if I could interpolate that 24 frames a second until it gets to like 60?
Oh yeah, you can do that with AI.
Yeah,
but it'll make like in between frames. It works, but it at some points it works. It looks weird.
Well, that's what I'm trying out.
Yeah. Good. Gucci. Fuck, that's not what. Is less or equal to 0, then we check if you do that. Time the delta time. Then the body. Yes, let's put real speed at 2. Perfection. Nice. Now I need to figure out how to like add multiple controllers to this. Because I've never done that.
I have no clue what you mean actually.
You know, like local co-op where you can like play games on one PC, like split screen. Well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to implement that because online co-op is much more mentally demanding, let's say.
Well, why don't you just copy one controller and just assign it to a different entity?
Well, yeah, that's how it works. I just don't know how to do it with the new input system that they put into Unity. I need to look it up.
Well, that is why I use Unreal. It stays the same. That doesn't just change all of a sudden.
I don't know. It's kind of better, not gonna lie. Oh no, I opened the front tab of YouTube. Now I'm going to get sucked into short videos of 10 seconds until 6 a.m.
Wow.
Like resist the anime titties. Unity local multiplayer. I got a PS4 controller yesterday for very cheap, actually.
Original PS4.
It's probably a fake, but it works fine. It's very good quality. It looks exactly like it. It's a Gen 2 controller.
System Python installation not found. Please install Python or download the package from the package installer. Bruh.
you're using the AI?
Yep.
Yeah, you need to install like the Python package. It's like Java but Python.
I will call it player manager. The first thing we want to do is go to the package manager, scroll the Unity registry packages, locate and install the input system package.
Okay, I need the input system package. Install. Ooh, why is my stream lagging? Interesting. Project is using the new input system package, but the native platform backend for a new input system enabling player settings. This means that no input from native devices will come through. You want to enable backend going, so reset, disable the old.
During the installation, Unity will prompt you to restart the editor. Click yes, as doing so will replace the old input backends with the new one, allowing the input system to work. Once
Okay, let's do that. Technology. Bruh. 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 Oh well.
Oh well. Negative.
Bruh. I'm using some sort of voice meter engine that lets me like mess with the effects on my microphone. So I can sound like the Call of Duty guy.
I mean, I literally told you about it. You're using voice meter banana, right?
Potato, yes.
Well, okay.
Voice meter potato. It's quite nice, I think. Removes some background noise. You don't need to hear my PC running like a jet engine.
Yep.
Update to... No, we don't want to update anything. Fuck off.
The editor has restarted, I will create a new input actions asset and name it controls or whatever I want.
Okay, I need to organize my shit because I'm going to lose it. Scripts. Put all the scripts into this folder.
I'm gonna go offline. I'll be back in maybe an hour and a half.
I'm gonna be here chilling. See ya. Oh shit, I've been streaming for an hour and 30 minutes. Oh well.
Then I will open it and create a new action map with a new move. Actions that returns a vector 2 value, and it's pointed to the left stick on the gamepad and the WASD keys on the keyboard.
Okay, I should probably connect my gamepad.
Value. Create a new action map with a new move action that returns a vector 2 value, and it's pointed to the left stick on the gamepad and the WASD. A vector 2 value, and it's pointed to the left stick on the gamepad. And the WASD keys. Here is where you will have all your input actions. I'm just creating this one for the sake of the tutorial. Then I will create a white cube that will act as our player object and will perform the actions after receiving the player's input. In the inspector, I will add to it the player input component that comes with the input system package and assign the input actions . Asset we created earlier to the actions field. For performance reasons, I will also change the behavior to invoke Unity events instead of send messages, because send messages is way slower. Now I will create a player controller script that will involve or them remember to keep the input system in mind, and that's where the callback context parameter for the move function comes from. Indeed, that's where the callback context parameter for the move function comes. To note here, when writing code for the input system, remember to keep the input system in mind, and that's where the callback context parameter for the move function comes from.
Oh shite. I don't know how to use the new input system. Ah yes, nothing is opened. Do you work still? No, you don't, because new input system.
In the inspector, with your player object selected, click on the Events drop-down in the player input component, and after that on the one named after your input action map. This will reveal the Unity events for the actions that you have created, and simply assign a new listener to the one you're using, and will assign the move function from the player controller script to the move event from the player input. And to check that everything is working so far, I just hit the play button and press the WASD keys to make the cube move. Alright, it's working. Now onto hooking up multiple controllers, let's make a prefab out of our player and delete it from the scene. After that, we want to create a new empty game object, I will call it player manager, and add a player if you want to and play the move vector. Callback context parameter for the move function console.
Interesting. Very interesting. Brack as it is.
Hello everyone and happy holidays.
Christmas was 3 days ago. You look silly.
Really cumbersome. So today we'll take it and download it as are basically like triggers for actions. So let's create a binding here for a shoot is to do the same thing. And we can actually really easily do that here. If we want another button to do shooting as well, we can simply add another binding. And we could, for example, bind this to mouse click. So we'll search for mouse, and now we get all of the mouse input options. We could input stuff like position or scroll here, or simply use the left button. So now we can either shoot using space on the keyboard or left button on the mouse. Let's go ahead and add another action. So we'll hit the plus sign on the actions, and let's call this one movement. And depending on your game, you might want to move in multiple directions. And a nice thing about the old system was that we could use this input.get axis to simply get a value for each axis that specified in what direction we were traveling and how quickly. And we can actually set up the same behavior here really easily using multiple bindings. However, instead of having to go in and create a bunch of bindings, we can actually create these automatically using either a composite axis or a composite D-pad. The composite axis is going to use one axis, so it's going to go between negative and positive on this axis. just like you would get axis horizontal or vertical, or we could use create composite D-pad to move in 4 directions. But before we start binding these keys, we need to think about what control scheme we are using. So currently everything that we are setting up here is for keyboard and mouse. However, a lot of the time you want to be able to support both keyboard and mouse, gamepads of different sorts, maybe you want to do touch controls, and we of course need a way to configure this in our input system. We can do that really easily using control schemes. In the left top hand corner here you can see it currently says no control scheme. Let's go ahead and add a new control scheme instead, and it's going to open up this window. And this might be one of those weird behavior things I was talking about, because it really shouldn't appear over here, I don't think. But nonetheless, we can go ahead and create a scheme name, and this could be keyboard and mouse. We can then add a device that we want to use with this control, and we want a mouse add, and we've keys the out reading stuff. Instead, we can go in here, thing like normalize it, adjust.
Okay, I just need the script. What are the new commands?
Of course, going to go away. Dot input. Now the first thing that we want is of course a reference to the input asset we just created. And because we've made it type input master, so let's create a public input master and let's call it controls. Now before it's set up, player, we can choose what happens. We shot the sheriff. So now we can simply equals, we're at trigger happening and going to be shoot. Again, bear with the text as to what is happening with this button. We're not going to be using this information here, but we actually still need to write it. So let's create some kind of variable called context. And again, the syntax here is weird. We then do equals and then a greater than sign. And then we specify the function. So in our case, this is going to be shoot. Again, bear with the weird syntax here. You can call this variable anything you'd like. You can call it context, or because we're not going to be using it, we could just do an underscore here. And then it just looks like we're kind of adding this shoot method to this list. Think of it like that for now. And whenever this game, and the same thing happens if I press space. You'll also see that off together with this object, which is fine for now. And now we can actually save this, go into Unity, let's select our player and let's drag in the input master asset, not the generated script. And now when we hit play, we should see that if I press the mouse button here, indeed it prints we shot the sheriff. And the same thing happens if I press space. You'll also
You can do that with a simple event. What? Jesus Christ, Unity! Can you just be simple for once and not have 15,000 systems? Jesus Christ.
also see that it triggers twice each time. One for when I press the button and one for when I with move as with the shoot function. So let's do control. We can see that we should be going to Unity and play. We can see that if I move to the right here, it goes 1, 0. If I go left, it goes -1, 0. If I go up, it goes 0. Through all these steps of first doing something in the UI and then hooking it up through script. This is a
Okay, fuck it, I'm just going to copy this because I don't understand how this works right now. Oh, fuck my neck. Speed and vector 2, that's what I understand. Movement input, okay, so it's like 2 axes. I sworn that it translates. Okay. Yeah, that I understand this part. But this is a fucking mystery to me. Input action that callback context. Move to movement input, which is this. We use the move. Just updating. Okay, I think I understand. Equals to context, read value, vector 2. Okay, I think I understand what it's trying to say. So, we're not using it like that, we're using a rigid body. No, it was a private vector. vector 2, movement input. How are you moving the photorigid body? That's what I want to know. Interesting. Oh, we already have a movement vector. Nice. Which means X movement dot Z. Do we have a colon? No. Wait, it's a double? Yeah, okay. No, times P. Yeah, times delta time. And we close you. Very nice. Guess technically we don't need you to now because you're an old input system. We just do what's public void move on move. That's not a thing. There we go.
In the inspector, with your player object selected, click on the events drop down in the player input.
Lost event, device green event, device control event. Okay.
Component, and after that on the one named after your input action map. This will reveal the Unity events for the actions that you have created, and simply assign a new listener to the one you're using, and will assign the move function from the player controller script to the move event from the player input. From the player controller script.
So yeah, it is a player input. Interesting. It's only letting me. It's not letting me go up and down. Interesting. What? At least that works, I guess. I know why this is actually. Because you should be here. You should be 0, I think. Yep, now it works. Very nice. Fuck, the shooting system doesn't work now. I need to set up that again. Bruh.
To the move event from the player input. And to check that everything is working so far, I just hit the play button and press the WASD keys to make the cube move. Alright, it's working. Now onto hooking up multiple controllers, let's make a prefab out of our player and delete it from the scene. After that, we want to create a new empty game object, I will call it player manager, and add a player input manager component to it. Now it's just a matter of dragging our player prefab to the player prefab field in the player input manager component, and the game's done. Please bear in mind that the object you use as a player prefab must have the player input component in order to work. Now let's enter play mode, and once the game is running, I will press a key on the keyboard to have the first player join in. And as you can see, everything is working properly and it's moving around. Now I'll just press the button on the PlayStation controller, and as you can see, a second player has joined in and every player is being controlled by its controller.
Very nice. Which means... I mean, I kinda don't want to, but... I'll just name this player and save it. Kinda wanna... we had input manager, drag you. When the join action is triggered, okay, so that could mean that okay, doesn't matter. Trying to read input Unity input class, but you're switched. Okay. That works. Got multiplayer working. Just need to get everything else working now. Ah, fuck. Interesting.
As far as gameplay, I guess you will have to do much better than me to have a playable game, but these are the basic principles behind making a local multiplayer game using the new Unity input system. That's it, I almost forgot to record an outro, but here we are.
Fuck the outro. Took me 20 minutes. Yes! Let's see how other people are doing. Ooh, I like this. How the fuck do you spell managed? Wanna get... Why did you stop? Groovy just fucking died. Interesting. Hmm. Why is this not working? Hmm. Hmm.
Really good way of doing things, but sometimes you just want to check for devices, and we can search for the one we want. I'm just going to search for keyboard and add it, and we can now see it on the list.
Okay, interesting. Uh... Can I have the record from input devices. The quickest way to start a script is reading the current state from input devices. For example, the following code gets gamepad. Later and last used. Okay. My player script, variable, gamepad current, red trigger, okay. Interesting. Player input, yeah. Create input action. Each player input component responds to receiving input. Need to set input action. Quickest creates new action button. Okay. Create an use a name folder instead of our assets. Wait.
And we also want to add a mouse here. Just going to use here. This is going to use one axis, so it's going to go between negative and positive on this axis, just like you would get axis horizontal or vertical. Or we could use this and either shoot using space on the keyboard or left button on the mouse. Let's go ahead and add another action. So we'll hit the plus sign on the actions, and let's call this one movement. And depending on your game, you might want to move in multiple directions. And the nice thing about the old system was that we could use this input.get axis to simply get a value for each axis that specified in what direction we were traveling and how quickly. And we can actually set up the same behavior here really easily using multiple bindings. However, instead of having to go in and create a bunch of bindings, we can actually create these automatically using either a composite axis or a composite D-pad. The composite axis is going to use one axis, so it's going to go between negative and positive on this axis, just like you would get axis horizontal or vertical. Composite automatically using either a composite axis or a composite D-pad. The composite axis is going to use one axis, so it's going to go between negative and positive on this axis, just like you would get axis horizontal or vertical. Or we could use create composite D-pad to move in 4 directions. But before we start binding these keys, we need to think about what control scheme we are using. So currently everything that we're setting up here is for keyboard and mouse. However, a lot of the time you want to be able to support both keyboard and mouse, gamepads of different sorts, maybe you want to do touch controls, and we of course need a way to configure this in our input system.
Okay, so if I go into controls and this is movement, right? Left stick. Yeah. With a new action, we go arrow move. We go like what did they bind you to? Left stick. Yeah, you are 2D vector. No, you're No, we don't want you.
We can do that really easily using control. We need a way to configure this in our input system. We can do that really controls, and we of course need a way to configure this in our input system. We can do that really easily using control schemes. In the left top hand corner here, you can see it currently says no control scheme. Let's go ahead and add a new control scheme instead. Maybe you want to do touch controls, and we of course need a way to configure this in our input system. We can do that really easily using control schemes. In the left top hand corner here, you can see it currently says no control scheme. Let's go ahead and add a new control scheme instead, and it's going to open up this window. And this might be one of those weird behavior things I was talking about, because it really shouldn't appear over here, I don't think. But nonetheless, we can go ahead and create a scheme name, and this could be keyboard and mouse. We can
Interesting.
then add a device that we want to use with this control scheme. And for some reason, the list of devices is only shown on my secondary monitor, and
Bruh. Okay, I'll try to figure out this on my own. We want keyboard, we want arrow, up arrow. Down is going to be arrow, left arrow, right arrow. So if we try this, got like an hour and a half left, bruh.
I'm unable to keep here controls, and we of course need a way to configure the control in 4 directions, horizontal, before we start and pad particle. If on the use create, we need to think about what control scheme. However, maybe we can do that. The thing that we're setting up here is for keyboard and mouse. However, a lot of the time you want to be able to support both keyboard and mouse, gamepads of different sorts. Maybe you want to do touch controls, and we of course need a way to configure this in our input system. We can do that really easily using control schemes. In the left top hand corner here, you can see it currently says no control scheme. Let's go ahead and add a new control scheme instead, and it's going to open up this window. And this might be one of those weird
scripts gun. Yeah.
Я солдат. Я не спал 5 лет, и у меня под глазами мешки. Я сам не видел, но мне так сказали. Я солдат. И у меня нет башки, мне отбили ее сапогами. Йо-йо-йо, комбатарё, разорванный рот у комбата. Потому что граната, белая вата, красная вата не лечит солдата. Я солдат, недоношенный ребенок войны. Я солдат, мама, залечи мои раны. Я солдат, солдат забытой богом страны. Я герой, скажите мне, какого романа?
Behavior things I was talking about, because it really shouldn't appear over here, I don't think. But nonetheless, so let's save the asset here. And one thing that is really nice about based on this asset, we can actually just create a variable of type input master. So let's create a public input master, and let's call it controls. Now, if we just quickly create a function here, let's create a void awake. And if you've never used awake before, it's just like start, except it's called even before start is called. So it's really good to use for setup. Now in here, if we write controls and then go dot, we can actually access our player action map. And if we press dot again, we can see the different actions under this map. We can see movement and shoot here. If we go shoot and then write actions under this map, we can see movement and shoot here. If we go shoot and then write dot performed, we can choose what happens when the shoot action is triggered. So when any of the keys bound to this action is pressed, then we can choose what happens. And let's go ahead and create a function for that. So let's create some kind of void. Let's call it shoot. And let's just right now throw out a debug.log saying we shot the sheriff. So now we can simply take this method and register it to this button. To do that, we go plus equal.
Okay, I understand. I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier.
Equals. And the syntax here is a bit weird. If you find code, we're using this info mixed. And again, the syntax defines here. You can call this variable anything you'd like. You can call it context, or because we're not going to
This is so complicated for no reason.
be using it, we could just do an underscore here, and then it just looks like we're kind of adding the shoot method to this list. Think of it like that for now. And this should actually properly trigger our function. However, we do need to first enable our input master. So because the system is so switch between, in our case, so dot disable object, let this object, which is fine for now, disable. So now the controls are going to turn on and off together with this object, which is fine for now. And now we can...
That's so stupid. Oh, Jesus Christ.
One of the things that we get asked a lot is how to do controller input, and we've been holding off on doing a video on this while we were waiting. Mine is showing up right here. Once it is, you're confusing, so let's see this in action. Let's go ahead and hit apply, and you can see under assets here in our project, it's now created a player controls C# script. Now you don't need to edit or worry about this at all, just know that it's there. So now let's go ahead and create our cube script. Let's select our cube, let's hit add component. To specific controllers if you want, they are at the bottom here, and you can see there's a PS4 controller, there's an Xbox controller, and so on. Or you can simply select from this list here and everything will be set up for you. So in my case here, I want to use the button south, which is right here. However, what we can also do is hit this listen button right here. We then pick up our gamepad and press the key that we would like to trigger. And you can now see that it's just a release that we've pressed this makes it good to be for moving around. I want to bind it, so we'll just call it move. And I don't want to bind this to a button. Instead, I want to bind it to the left thumbstick. So to do that, we'll add, and we can of course hit, and as you can see, it's gamepad. And now we've bound the thumbstick. Really easy stuff. In fact, let's go ahead and do this again for the right stick, and let's have it control our rotation. So we'll create a rotate action. Let's again go to the path and listen. I'm gonna move around the right thumbstick, and here we get the right stick. Let's select it. And that's pretty much all we need to do for setting up our input. We can now save this input asset. It's important that you remember to do this or your changes won't be applied. And at this point, we're ready to create a script that will do things based on this input. And one thing that we can do to make the script writing process much easier is to select our player controls object and check off generate C# class. This is going to create a C# script based on the inputs you have specified here. This will make it easier for us to program for these inputs because we avoid having to access everything using strings. That might sound a bit confusing, so let's see this in action. Let's go ahead and hit apply. And you can see under assets here in our project, it's now created a player controls C# script. Now you don't need to edit or worry about this at all, just know that it's there. So now let's go ahead and create our cube script. Let's select our cube. Let's hit add component. Let's create a cube script and hit create and add. And let's double click this to open it up in Visual Studio. So the first thing that we want to do when working with the new input system is make sure that we're using the right namespace. So at the top here, we'll write using Unity Engine.input system. We also want to create an instance of the input action asset that we created. So we called it player controls. So we'll write that here. And let's just refer to it as our controls. Let's also remove our start and update method, and let's instead write void awake. And remember, the awake method is just like start, except it's called even before start is. Then in here, we can set controls equal to a new player controls object. So now we've basically just created a player controls object that we can refer to going forward as controls every time we want to do something with input within this script. And the first thing that we want to do is of course make our cube grow whenever the grow action is triggered. So let's make some room here and let's go controls dot. And if we go into Unity now, we can see the structure that we need to go through here. So first we need to go into the right action map, which is gameplay. And we then need to access the grow action. So all we need to do through code is do dot, then the action map, which is gameplay, and then the action, which is grow. And this is the really neat thing about making sure that we are generating a C# class file. Because if we didn't do this, we would have to go in and for each one of these steps, we would have to search for an action map and an action. And we'd have to do this using strings, which is not at all as solid. So that's really cool. So now we found the right action, but how do we make something happen based on this? Well, first of all, we need to understand that each action in the input system has different phases that we can use to trigger input. Mainly, we need to focus on .started, .performed, and .cancelled. In this case, we want something to happen when the player performs the action of pressing the button, so we'll use .performed. Now, this is a callback. What that means is that we can add a function to this that will be triggered when the action is performed. We do this by writing plus equals, and then the name of the function that we want to trigger. So let's go ahead and create a function for this. So down here, we can simply add a function, void, and let's call it grow. And all we want to happen inside this function is we want to go transform.local scale. So we'll take our current scale and let's multiply it. So star equals by 1.1. So this is going to increase our scale a tiny bit. And now all we need to do to trigger this function is simply write it up here. In other words, when this action gets performed, we want to make sure that it calls the grow function. However, you will notice that this is currently giving us a red line. And that's because when the performed callback gets triggered, it also sends out some information about the context of the event. This is great because later when we implement the thumbsticks, this will allow us to read a value that tells us what direction they are pointing. However, in this case here, we don't really need this information. So to tell Unity how we want to use this context information, if at all, we can use something called lambda expressions. Now that might sound really scary, but you can basically think of lambda expressions kind of like mini functions. So a lambda expression works by inserting a parameter on the left. In our case, this is the context of our action. We can call this anything we want, but I'm just going to call it ctx for context. Then we write equal sign greater than, which reads as goes to, and then on the right we can write an expression. And this is where we can do things using our context parameter. However, in this particular case, we just want to ignore it. Instead, we will simply call the grow function. So now we're using a lambda expression to tell Unity that we are aware that there is some context for this action, but we don't really want to use it here, we just want to call the function. Again, you will see why performing this step will be useful later when working with thumbsticks. Now we're almost ready to test this out. We just need to do one thing, and that is make sure that we're enabling and disabling these input actions whenever we need them. So we can just go ahead and do this inside of an void on enable. And as the name suggests, this function is going to be called whenever this object gets enabled. And here we can just go controls.gameplay.enable. So it's simply going to activate all of our actions in this action map. And let's do the same thing for disabling. So void on disable, and here we simply go controls.gameplay.disable. And that's all we need to do. If we now save this script, go into Unity, let's switch over to our game view and hit play, we should see that if I pick up the controller here and press the X button, indeed our cube will grow. Awesome! So next up, let's implement movement, and this really isn't that much harder. In fact, we're going to, instead of using the groups, let's run movement on, and let's call it type, one thing we're calling the grow function, but down here we don't need to call a function, we just need to set move equal to the value of our thumbstick. And that's all we need to do. We probably also want to reset this value when we're not moving the thumbstick, so let's go controls.gameplay.move.cancelled. So at this point we stop moving the thumbstick, and again, plus equals, context goes to move, and this time we can just set it equal to vector2.0. So just 0 on the X and 0 on the Y, we're not touching the thumbstick. And now we can use this value anywhere that we'd like. So if we want to move our object, let's do that inside of an update call. So let's go void update, and let's create a vector2 with the amount that we want to move. So let's just call it M here, and we'll set it equal to a new vector2, which is going to take our movement.x and our movement.y, and let's multiply it with time.delta time to make it frame rate independent. We then call transform.translate in order to move our object by our M vector, and let's have this be relative to the world space. Also, because I've done this before, I know that with my scene we need to reverse the movement on the X. So if we save this now and go into Unity, we should be able to control this cube here up and down and left and right by simply moving around our left thumbstick. So let's hit play. I'm gonna pick up the controller here and let's try. And indeed we can. It's working. And I can not only control the direction, I can also control the speed by only moving the thumbstick so much. Really, really cool. So finally, let's go ahead and implement the rotation. Again, we'll go controls, our rotation. So stud and copy from up here.
Interesting. So
perform to 2 inside of an move. Then down here we can set move Equal to value of time and triggering something to 2 dot read start by having our with press now have a menu for going into action with input a device connected. That up the computer with debugger. If everything is set, controller is creating. So let's go to the product player controls center and let's click it to open it up in a new window. So the first thing that we need to do is add, when the performed callback gets triggered, it also gives us a red line, and that's grow. And all we want Want to happen in input master. So let's create a public.
Not centered, which is not what we want. Let me just see what they wrote. Rotation points. Rotate. It needs to be. Okay, I think I'm going to just stop the stream because I need to figure this out.